Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sal. It's March 11th. It's a Monday. We got a new week. We got a new slate, 6-game slate in the NBA. We're going to be breaking it down today. I like these 6-game slates. Anything between 6 and 9, right around 7 and 8 are my favorite types of slates. 6-game slates I like as well. Good amount of news that you'll get, but nothing too crazy, and you can really feel confident throughout the day in things that you're looking at. Not a lot will change just because there's not as many teams on the slate. So if you're new here, welcome to the channel. We're getting new people every single day. People saying they're just stumbling upon the channel by accident, whatever it might be, just comes up next on YouTube, whatever it might be. My name's Sal. Welcome to the channel. And what I do here is I'm going to be breaking down this NBA slate today. I have some strategy videos if you want to look there, get better at it. I have a whole playlist, has like 3 or 4 right now, and there'll be more coming out now that I'm back from my spring break, my little vacation that I took, visiting Raleigh, visiting Austin. But what I do is I cover NFL, NBA, MLB, DFS, player props, sports betting sometimes, things like that. And yeah, it's been a ton of fun. We've been doing it coming up on 6 months now, since the middle to end of October. Maybe that already is 6 months. I don't even know. But yeah, so it's been a ton of fun. It's something that I want to try and make into my career. So the growth here has been incredible. Welcome to the channel. My whole goal is to give you as much value as possible, because I see it as, if I'm giving you value, it's free for you guys, free for me to give it to you, and then maybe some advertisers or something will then pay me money. So trying to give you as much value as possible. In terms of the NBA, there's a lot to keep up on. I learned that during the NFL season that it was just kind of hard to do both, especially without using this data. So I want to give you the data that I use early in the morning, let you know to start, which we're going to do, as you can see over my little shoulder here. Injury news, I'll let you know. Target offense sheet, something I created that's lets you see where teams are in best positions and also specific players. And then I'll let you know what I'm thinking early in the day in terms of some players that just seem interesting for one reason or another. So let's get it started, and I'll quickly just do housekeeping before that. Quickly, if you've been here before, I'll touch on Patreon. I have projections over there, just projecting players' points, their value. It has a lot of nice things on it. We can quickly just jump to that. It has all this data on there for you. If I keep scrolling, you'll get to the players' points for the day. I already have the projections out and value. So if you want that, you can head over to Patreon and check it out. And then also the Discord. I'll mention this as well if you're not already in there. If you are already in there, hop in the comments. Let me know what it's doing. Let everybody know how good it is, because we're at almost 300 people now. People talking nonstop. I got 500 messages overnight. Don't worry, I have the thing on silent, so my phone didn't keep ringing. But it's nice to go back and see how people are doing. People are helping each other out. You can see I already have the target offense sheet in here. So definitely hit up the Discord. It's totally free just to go in there, building a community in there. If you don't have a ton of friends that play DFS, or even if you do, just getting more minds talking about your lineups, talking about overall strategy for a slate, it's definitely good. And I utilize it just as much as everybody else in there. So it's awesome to have just that group think, knowledge spillover. So yeah, the other thing I'll mention is Twitch. I'm going to be starting to stream once again now that I'm back from vacation, probably by tomorrow. So down below, follow me on Twitch. It's just a streaming platform if you would like to just ask any questions or kind of hang out in there during these live streams in the mornings. It's probably going to be a little bit earlier. So that's it. Projections, Discord, housekeeping out of the way. We're now over 3,100 subscribers. So if at any point during this video you do find value and you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. If you're a subscriber right now, I've never mentioned this really, but I should. There's a notification bell down there. You can hit that so you know when I upload. If you do like watching these daily NBA videos that I've been trying to chug out as much as possible, and have been pretty good at it. So let's get this thing started. We have it broken down here by alphabetical order for the teams in terms of their injury news. And really, guys, I mentioned in the Discord earlier, if you're playing cash and maybe even tournaments, this seems like a straightforward 6-game slate to start, right? I mean, we might get some news like we always do. Maybe Kyrie's going to get ruled out or just something. At this point, it becomes predictable. But, I mean, just looking at the injury news, we already know for the most part everything that's going to happen. Again, that stuff will change, but everybody's pretty much probable are out outside of Jason Tatum. So it's going to be easy to kind of break down through this. Jeremy Lamb, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. I mean, Lamb's the one that means a lot of impact to the team. Coming off the bench, seeing around 30 to 32 minutes a game and just playing absolutely out of his mind. And also getting run away from Kemba when he comes off the bench, which is huge for him, kind of controlling the offense, getting more usage. He's probable, nothing to really worry about with his hamstring. Then coming down, I mean, the Brooklyn guys, there's just some secondary role player guys. I mean, Shabazz being back maybe takes some minutes away from Allen Crabbe, who got a start, maybe takes some secondary minutes away from Spencer Dinwiddie, who's been back and balling. I don't think it does. Treveon Graham out. Guy who is also getting some spot starts. It's just going to continue to give Allen Crabbe even more minutes, and also Kirkus, even more minutes. I think I got that right. I would say, I guess, the biggest news on this slate as of right now is that Ricky Rubio went from doubtful to out, and we got that news early, which is nice. Raul Neto is still also out. But Utah's point guard Dante Exum is back. It's going to be interesting. Right now in the projections, I have him in for around 19 minutes. I want to see what this starting lineup looks like. If he's starting, I bump that up to the mid-20s. If he's not, or maybe 24. If he's not starting, which is mid-20s. So if he's not starting, I think Donovan Mitchell probably gets more of the point minutes. And you also continue to get Joe Ingles at the point guard position for half his time out there whenever Donovan Mitchell isn't out there, and even sometime with Mitchell. Royce O'Neal, who's the dust himself. People have been wanting to play Royce O'Neal, and it makes sense in cash. You can get up. In tournaments, there's really no ceiling there. I know that a couple of times he started and he got whatever 30-something points, but the injuries were different. It wasn't Ricky Rubio injured. I believe the injuries were different, so the usage went a little bit differently. But yeah, I mean, you could play Royce O'Neal. I think I have him in for, and we can look at the player projections right now. I have Royce O'Neal right now in for 27 minutes, and obviously that means that I'm probably projecting him to start if that's the case. So we'll have to see what Dante Exum does to this team. I really don't know. I haven't done the research in terms of his usage and just the minutes, if there's any history of him starting when Rubio and Nito are out or anything like that. But he's probable, so they have a point guard back now, which is something they didn't have when Mitchell was getting starts there with Joe Ingles controlling the point. So I am a little bit worried in terms of Joe Ingles' usage at the point guard position today, but we'll have to see overall what Exum is doing. For Houston, Nene said they already told us that he'll be rested today. Fareed is back. It's going to impact Clint Capella, just a little bit, Fareed being there. And also PJ Tucker, especially if they decide to go big and start Fareed at the 4 against Charlotte, which is a possibility, but I don't see it happening. Larry Nance Jr. is out today, and so is Tristan Thompson, remains out. It's going to give a bump to Kevin Love, who now maybe even sees increased minutes, closer to 33 to 34. It's going to give a bump to Seti Osman, Marquise Chris, whoever's going to start the 4. If I had to project this, I would probably say you're going to get Chris at the 4, Osman at the 3, Love at the 5. But we'll have to see that. It could very much be actually Zizic at the 5, Love at the 4, Osman at the 3. It's going to depend a lot on what that starting lineup looks like. Either way, Love's going to get a bump, Osman's going to get a bump. Even Colin Sexton will get a bump from me with Larry Nance out. And then really the only question mark we have right now, like I said, it's somewhat straightforward as in the morning, is Jason Tatum got ruled late last night with the questionable tag for his shoulder. This would affect probably Gordon Hayward the most, would probably get the spot start there. Potentially Jaylen Brown gets a spot start. So those two guys are the most. Also Marcus Morris, just being able to get some more minutes in the rotations if Tatum was to miss. But yeah, it's straightforward. Like I said, the biggest news, I mean, in terms of what to watch for, is Tatum, because he's the only guy that we don't have definitive news on. And then other than that, it's Ricky Rubio being out and Exum being in. What does Exum do? Like I said, I have 18 to 19 minutes. I think it's 18 and a half on a guy like Exum today. That'll go up if he starts. He's only 3,200, so and not in the most favorable spot, or actually in a pretty nice spot in a pace up. OKC playing the fastest pace since the beginning of the month, I believe since the beginning of the year. So actually a decent spot for him if he can get to the low to mid 20s. At 3,200, either way, he becomes a nice price, even if he only plays 20 minutes. But it's tough for me to try and go there in cash. So that's the injury dashboard. We'll move over to the target offense sheet. Before we do, give Draft Dashboard a little shout out. I will be on Sirius XM on Fridays for the next 4 weeks, at least the next 4 weeks. Friday evenings on channel 211 Sportsline, I believe it is. I'll get you the exact info. It'll be out on Twitter, so make sure to follow me there. If you guys do want to tune in and listen, I'll be talking about the 2 games over the weekend. Probably my idea is to break it down target offense-wise and just say guys who are in good positions for the weekend. Not really much sure or much else I can do there without the salaries for the weekend. So this is Draft Dashboard. It's just a research. It reduces your research time. They have lineup optimizers, lots of cool things here. So this is just all the players at the point guard position it's filtered to right now. You could filter it to any position, any slate you want. You could even do showdown slates, which is really nice. You can figure out the depth if you want to get more players from the same team or there. So what you can do is you can watch list some players here. I like making player pools on Draft Dashboard. I use it personally, as well as some other sites, just to have house my guys into a player pool. You then go over to your player pool, your watch players list, and you can make lineups out of there. So you can get everybody in here just to see what you're looking at for the day. It's a nice, easier look to see who you're interested in. You can make lineups out of those guys, or we'll optimize it for you. I like their player trends. I've been looking at that as of late. Yesterday, I started looking at their player trends. They give you the best value rankings at different levels, the mid-tier, the value plays, the higher tier, the more expensive guys. So definitely check out Draft Dashboard. The link below. 30 days for $1, 3 cents a day or something like that. So try it out if you want. See if it'll improve your game. It's pretty easy to get return on investment on $1 if you're using this correctly, personally. So definitely check it out. That's Draft Dashboard. Let's move over to the target offense sheet here. and I added just the spreads. I had a nice gentleman in the chat or in the comments last night mention something about me talking about just giving out the totals and things like that, and really pretty much saying I don't add much value, which is fine, but I am going to add the spreads. So we got the spreads in here now on the target offense page. So what you're looking at is just a bunch of different things. You're looking at pace, you're looking at the spreads, you're looking at the totals for these games, and then you're looking at how specific teams defend specific positions over the last 30 days, how many DraftKings points they've given up to that spot. It's a nice little fresher data set for us, takes into account trades, coaching changes, injuries, things like that. So when you're looking at pace here, and you can see whenever a game is over 105 or even approaching 110, 107 stands out to me. So you have Sacramento playing at the third fastest pace on the year, I believe. Washington also plays at a high pace, so you're going to get a high pace game. Pace just means more possessions in the game. More possessions equal more fantasy points for that game, or for more opportunities for that game. And it usually correlates with a total. Anytime you see a total around 240, and this is over 240, it's a smash spot. We had that yesterday with the Minnesota game. Tons of guys got ruled out. Tons of guys became smash spots. I mean, you had Taj Gibson and Jeff Teague, the chalk, at least for the later slates, going for 40-plus points. You had Bates, Diapo, just pretty much a value. At that spot, he went for, I think, 35, close to 40. In a game with a high total and a high pace, you usually see that. So this Washington-Sacramento game, at least right now, seems very interesting for me. Haven't done lineup construction, haven't really looked into it too much, but just based on the pace. And if we want to look at specific games or specific positions, I should say, for players, Thomas Satoransky becomes a very interesting play. In a high-paced game, point guards are usually in a very favorable spot, right? They're in the transition offense a lot, getting assists, getting easy layups, just controlling the ball, running, driving to the rim, just paced up spots usually help point guards. And Thomas Satoransky has the second best matchup on the slate at the point guard position against De'Aaron Fox, against Sacramento. I do like it. Other than that, there's really not many really beneficial spots. I mean, De'Aaron Fox has an above-average matchup today against Thomas Satoransky in Washington, so even in that gets a little bit better than above average when you consider the spot, the pace, the total. But outside of that, the power forward position for Sacramento should see a little bit of a bump. Not really anybody at the power forward position that I'm totally interested in playing for Sacramento. We can go over to DraftKings quickly and just really look at the depth. I mean, with Bagley out, I don't know who's been starting there. I think it's our guy right here, Bajalecki. That was a butcher job. But yeah, I think that's him because he's been getting the minutes as of late, since Marvin Bagley's been out. Guy who was out of the rotation for a few games, and now he's getting upper minutes, and he's cheap at 4,200. He's in a favorable spot if they decide to go and start him. I haven't been keeping up with the last two games for Sacramento's rotation, so I'm going to guess they're going to start him because Barnes has been starting at the 3. So that becomes an interesting spot if you're going to get a guy playing 29 minutes at 4,200 in a favorable overall spot, and then his specific position spot's good. So that's just me seeing that on the run. It's nice. Kyle Lowry, price now up to 7,600. I imagine Kawhi Leonard is back today, so that's something I should have put on the injury thing. Kawhi Leonard got ruled out for rest pretty much. I imagine he's back, so probable. In a spot where Toronto's supposed to be beating Cleveland pretty easily, and you would imagine they would. Good matchup for Kyle Lowry, but with the price, I don't know if I want to pay up there at 7,600, but it is a nice spot. Outside of that, just other spots to mention. Boston against the Clippers is a spot that we always like to target the bigs, power forwards, and centers. You know me, I personally love Al Horford, and today at the best matchup at his position by a decent margin, I do like him against the Clippers. I like him almost every single day because he's always underpriced. Every single time he's on a slate, he's always underpriced, and he gets the power forward eligibility. You guys know I'm a sucker for Al Horford. I usually play him more than really a lot of other guys, as long as his price remains down, which we're about to see what it is. OKC today against Utah. Both the centers here are decent plays. Steven Adams, though, once Paul George is back, he loses his rebound upside a bunch when Russell Westbrook and George are out there. I'd rather play Gobert at a reduced price under 8K. Utah, lots of guys in good spots. Joe Ingles has a good matchup today. Donovan Mitchell, if he starts at the 2 or the 1, either way, it's a good spot for Donovan Mitchell. A good spot for James Harden today. Nice bounce back spot. If you played him yesterday, you burn your money, getting like 30-something points out of a guy, and you're paying $1,100 for him. I do like him here on a bounce back spot. And the guy I haven't talked about at all yet. And the guy that you're probably like, how hasn't this guy talked about him if you've looked at anything on this slate? Andre Drummond versus Brooklyn, and Blake Griffin at that same extent versus Brooklyn. We've been targeting bigs, power forward, centers against Brooklyn all year long. It's a smash spot. It's similar to the guards against Atlanta. Now you get Andre Drummond, a guy who's been perhaps the best center outside of Karl Anthony Towns over the last 2 to 3 to month of the year. I really don't know if anybody's been better than him. Karl Anthony Towns has just been on a tear, but he's right up in that category. Price only goes up $300 to $9,100 for a guy who's been hitting 45 plus points outside of the last time he was out there pretty much every single game. So Drummond now against Brooklyn, I have been projected as of right now, I think, for around 52 points. And at 9,100, I take that all day in pretty much any format. Anytime you're going to get a guy projected for the 50s and he's below 10K and he's below 9,500 even, it's a good spot. So this is target offense. The top game right there with that pace and that total is something that to really keep an eye on. Pieces in that game specifically, I mean, Bobby Portis starting at the center position, probably only see, I think I have him in for 27.5 minutes, still interesting. Buddy Hield's price is up, so it's hard to get there. Bradley Beal is in a good spot here. And then the point guards. Outside of that, Willie Cauley-Stein to an extent. Rebounding against Washington is usually a good thing all year long. It's getting improved now that they have Trevor Rees out there. Earlier in the year, they acquired him. Now that they have Jabari Parker and Bobby Portis, the rebounding efficiency has improved for Washington. But if Willie Cauley-Stein will see close to 28 to 30 minutes, closer to that 30 mark, I have him projected, I think, right now for 28.5. It becomes an interesting play for sure. But yeah, I think there's a couple of places. Bijalika, I really can't say that man's name right. But he's in a good spot as well. So that game in general is something I want to target. Outside of that, this OKC game playing at a really fast pace against Utah. Lots of pieces there, especially with Rubio out. And yeah, then just play around with it, look at the charts. This will be in the Discord. Make sure you hit up the Discord. Right now, if you're not in the Discord, I know that there's like going to be 1,000 plus people that see this just in terms of the views. There's about 280 in the Discord. Stop the video, go down below, get in the Discord. This is in there, just a bunch of good chatter in there for sure. Lots of people are saying, oh, I just got in yesterday, 2 days ago. And they're saying this has been great. So check it out for sure. Even if it's on your phone and you just need to slide in there and say, hey, who are like in good positions today? I haven't had a lot of research time. People will fill you in literally like that with every single thing that they know. It's an awesome community. So let's go to my early interests. And before I start, my early interests, what I do with these is I pretty much just pull VLOOKUPs and data from a bunch of different pages that I have all down here. And then I just type in the player and it should populate the rest. Where this value is coming from, this is the value from my player projections. So it's sort of like a freebie. So once again, if you want the player projections, head over to Patreon. You can check them out there. But that's the value as of right now that comes from that. It takes into account a lot of things to get the player projections. Personally, I'm not going to describe the algorithm or anything, but the value pretty much lets you know, am I paying for them? If it's over 5, that's usually a good thing. If I'm paying for these people, are they anything well over 5 is really good. So is it worth it to pay for these guys? Pretty much in tournaments, you want to get guys closer to that 6x value. So yeah. And it's really guys I've already talked about. Andre Drummond and even Blake Griffin we can get somewhere lower down the list right here. Both guys that I'm really interested in today. Make this a little bit bigger for everybody. There we go. Yeah, Andre Drummond at 9,100. The guy's too cheap. The matchup is too good. 9,100, I'll take that all day. Look, it's going to be a position where on a 6-game slate, he's going to become the very obvious chalk in tournaments. In cash, I think Drummond's just a free square today, honestly. In tournaments, there's leverage. If he's going to be coming in on a 6-game slate, 40+% owned today. Not sure I see that happening, but if that's the case, 45% owned, there's merit to fading a guy like Andre Drummond in some of your lineups. If you're playing single entry games, I think Andre Drummond's fine. If you're playing one lineup in 150 max and we get ownership projections closer to 40%, I think there's merit to fading him, but it's scary. Al Horford, great matchup. Price stays the same at 6,600. I'd like to see it come down, but he's still not appropriately priced. Should be closer to 7K. I liked him more when he was around 6,300, but I still think the matchup is fine. Thomas Satoransky in this spot. He's one of the guys that I like in this pace-up spot. Kyle Lowry, we talked about 7,600 being a little bit of a high price point, especially with Kawhi out there. The matchup is good, but the overall spot, it's interesting, but I'd probably stay away. Marcus Morris, very cheap, built-in value on this slate right here at 4,500 in a good matchup against the Clippers. Should be playing, I think I have him in for around 28 minutes today. Joe Ingles, if we get point Joe Ingles today, so if that means that we're going to get Royce O'Neal starting at the 3, Joe Ingles starting at the 2, or Ingles starting at the 3, and Royce O'Neal starting at the 2, whatever it might be, and we're not getting Exum starting today, then that means we're going to get a lot more point Ingles, I'd imagine, point guard, and we like the point guard position, just more usage overall, controlling the point, transition points, assists, driving into the lane, whatever it might be. We've seen Joe Ingles rack up a double-double when this happens with Ricky Rubio out. I think the last game he had like 7 assists, just way more usage than he would get just starting at the 3. Blake Griffin, we already mentioned, I love. James Harden at 11.4. I think he's a very good guy to kind of get a bounce back spot out of here. A lot of people are going to be down on him. Interesting tournament play. Chris Paul, too cheap. His price goes down once again, 7,100. He's pretty much priced below his average now, and I like it a lot. Not the greatest of matchups going up against Kemba, but something he could definitely handle. I do like 7,100 a lot for a guy who should see around 33 to 34 minutes today. Gallo's price, 6,400, steadily climbing, still not to a point where I'm scared of it. Cedi Osman, Colin Sexton, 2 guys on Cleveland, as well as Kevin Love. All these guys that I really do like today. If we get Chris starting at the 4, I give him a little bit of a bump, especially due to his price. But Osman should see 33 around their minutes. Colin Sexton should see around 30 minutes today. And Sexton's too cheap now that he's below 5K. Jared Allen, never a guy I really get to in cash ever. Never really a guy I get to in tournaments because there's usually better value plays. But to start today, 4,800 for a center today. Not the greatest of matchups, but the price right there is hard to ignore, at least in terms of being interesting. Harrison Barnes at $5,200 is an interesting play to get a guy in your small forward spot. Another guy, a piece of this high-paced, high-total game. I do like him at 5,200. Price slowly has been rising, but it really hasn't been rising too much. We could put some other guys in there. 4,200 power forward on Sacramento. I'm trying not to say his name because I just butchered it. Bielitsa. Yeah, something like that. So he should also be on this list now that I'm thinking about it. And he will be on that list because he's very interesting. So yeah, that's the early interest. There are no picks. There's nothing like that. I'll finish this up by saying thank you guys so much. The channel has been growing a ton. 3,100 plus subscribers right now. If you found value and you're still here, let me know down in the comments down below that you still watch or you watched all the way through. Let me know if you liked it. I'll quickly shout out once again Draft Dashboard. Build a little player pool. It's easier to watch. If you do sign up below, I think you get access to my player pool so you can see who I put in here. I'll be honest, I'm really bad at putting players in there just because people haven't been asking for it. So, but if you do want that, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know, and I can make my player pool at least my early interest or modify it as injury news comes out. Not picks or anything. It'll be like 40 players that I just think are interesting on the day. But just let me know. That's something you'll get access to. Link down below. 30 days for $1. Check out Patreon if you want the projections. I'll just give it another little drop right there. Link down below, and as well as the Discord. This is something you should definitely be getting in on. It's just free knowledge. Have some chats that I'll be checking out in there. So thank you guys so much. Target Offense will be up on Twitter once this video is live, and it's already in the Discord. So if you want it right now, which you don't know because this video is not live, hop in the Discord. My name's Sal. You already know that. Best of luck today. Peace out.